Despite the fact that Homelander's abilities make him the strongest superhero, this seems nearly certain to work out for him. Nonetheless, he lacks the intelligence that is essential to his partnership with Sage. During a confrontation between the three Supes, Sage divulges that she had known A-Train was the leaker from the beginning and that his deliberate dissemination of information. It's unclear to what end. Currently, Homelander finds himself encircled by a group of yes-men, which is not good news for his takeover strategy. Homelander is essentially back where he was at the start of Season 4, but he's more enraged than before. Homelander embarks on a trip throughout the season, culminating in a terrifying and emotional finale that is reminiscent of The Boys. But this time, it was successful. The takeover narrative makes Homelander's activities more serious, but Anthony Starr still gives an excellent performance, eschewing the script's clichés to convey an even more dangerous character. With nothing stopping him going into the finale, it's a positive omen. Furthermore, since Season 5 of The Boys is the final one, anything might happen for the first time in a very long time. The Boys has begun to exhibit some wear and tear in its fourth season. Regardless of how prophetic it appears to be, its social criticism has become old, and the moments meant to shock and stun have either fallen short of expectations or have been shockingly tone-deaf, Huey's sexual torment being the worst of it. While Episode 7 doesn't correct every error, it does set up a potentially game-changing finale. Homelander has dispatched Black Noir and the Deep to assault Butcher and Annie, and the gloves are off. The leak has identified A-Train. Sister Sage has lost her job. Annie has been abducted and appears to be a part of the January 6th scheme. The Boys feels like it has some energy again after at times feeling like a lifeless season. After the huge soup reveal in The Boys Season 4, Episode 7, director Catriona Mackenzie explains how to identify the genuine Starlight. The fourth season of the popular superhero comedy series on Prime Video debuted last month, carrying on Billy Butcher's, Karl Urban, fight against Vought and Homelander, Anthony Starr. A new shape-shifting soup is introduced in The Boys Season 4, Episode 7, when the main group looks into the plan to assassinate President Singer, Jim Beaver. The real Annie is being held captive in an unidentified place, and the episode concludes with the shocking revelation that this new individual has assumed the shape of Starlight. Mackenzie recently shared with Screen Rant that there are a few minor indicators that viewers may look out for in order to spot the counterfeit Starlight, also known as the Shifter. The director claims that the fake Starlight moves a little more robotically than the original. See Mackenzie's remarks below. The introduction of the Shifter will make it even more difficult for the Boys to stop President Singer from being assassinated, as they won't know who to hunt for in the first place. The assassin can effortlessly elude security and approach as near as necessary to carry out the act thanks to her abilities. Importantly, the Shifter's abilities can also be utilized to place the blame on other members of the Boys' ensemble cast, even though they can be used to get close to the president. The conclusion of Episode 7 of The Boys' fourth season suggests that Starlight will be the target of the Shifter's direct assassination accusation. Pinning the president's assassination on Starlight's camp would be a very powerful method to demonize those who support Homelander and her goals, given the conflict between both groups has been a central feature of Season 4 thus far. The resistance to Homelander from average Americans would virtually vanish. A highly intense tale in The Boys Season 5, which is officially the last season of the show, will be set up if the conspiracy to assassinate the president succeeds. Butcher, Huey, Jack Quaid, Laz Alonso, and the other members of the squad might also be connected to the murder, making them all the most wanted individuals in America and making it much simpler for Homelander to defend their deaths. The details of The Boys Season 4 finale are yet unknown, but it seems certain that the Shifter complicates. Homelander's downfall was depicted in the comic book series The Boys finale, and the epilogue miniseries that followed suggested that no evil superhero like him would ever rise to threaten the world once more. Although Garth Ennis's controversial superhero satire's finale did not resolve every loose issue from the series, the author made a point of assuring readers that the world had indeed changed for the better by the book's end. One more chapter in the bloody story, The Boys, Dear Becky, written by Garth Ennis, illustrated by Russ Braun, takes place more than 10 years after the events of the main series. The story launched the main character, Huey, on a final quest to find the origin of a mysterious journal that described the boy's early years. Fans were given a glimpse into a future when superheroes do not exist as part of the plot, suggesting that even in the unlikely event that a new generation of superheroes were to emerge, the world would never allow another Homelander to occur. Before his own death, Billy Butcher carried out the murder of multiple Supes in his campaign of terror and retaliation, significantly reducing the number of superpowered people in the world. By the end of The Boys, his group of CIA-backed anti-Supe operatives had successfully dismantled every major super team, including the Seven, the G-Men, and Payback. Readers may have anticipated, given The Boys' tone, that a return to the franchise would result in a gloomy view of The Boys. The titular squad of The Boys Season 4 reaches their lowest point to date in the penultimate episode. It may seem unfeasible given their past experiences, but Huey, Annie, Butcher, Kimiko, and Frenchie aren't the only ones who are in danger. Everyone is in a risky situation going into the season finale since the Seven and Vaught's business structure are in ruins. Vice President-elect Victoria Newman is the only one who hasn't given up completely. She fully supports Homelander's strategy and the political violence required to get it through. It's easy to understand Soup's decision when the alternative is Soup genocide, which would kill her and her daughter. The Boys has a lot of territory to cover before the Season 4 finale, and this episode does a good job of establishing the stage for what will undoubtedly be a thrilling episode. However, it appears that the show may only be able to defend its dismal first season in one way. Despite going through a crisis the entire season, Homelander's situation appeared to be going well for him overall. He enlisted the world's smartest lady, Sister Sage, and together they devised a strategy for global dominance. But the insane Soup could not resist giving in to his worst desires, and he has since ignored Sage in favor of Firecracker and her infatuation with winning his approval. It appears that Homelander might carry out his ambitious agenda by using force rather than shrewd tactics.